Hi, I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 2009 Nissan Frontier SE 4.0 liter standard shift. I'm going to show you how to replace the radiator and flush out the cooling system. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. Drop light, 3/8 ratchet, another 3/8 ratchet, 1/4" ratchet, 3/8 extension, 1/4" extension, 1/4" extension, 10mm socket, 12mm socket, 10mm socket, 8mm socket, 3 different types of 10mm wrench, Phillips screwdriver, door panel remover, flat tip screwdriver, some cutters, flush gun, 2 different types of vice grip, cutter pin puller, plier, long nose plier, dielectric grease, anti-seize, silicone spray, contact cement in a spray, airlift tube to vacuum out my cooling system, and a gear wrench to remove and replace the serpentine belt. So this radiator has a big crack in the front. That's common when the vehicle gets a little older. This is a plastic tank, yeah, so it's kind of known to crack, so we're going to be replacing it. Okay, first we're going to be removing this air intake. So now there's 2 bolts over here. We're going to remove that. They're removing this hose. So we're going to be removing this electrical connector. Removing this air intake. See, we're going to be removing this wire mount from the air box. So we'll be removing this air box. So we're under the vehicle, so we're going to be removing this plastic shield. So I'm gonna be draining the radiator. So there's a drain plug right over here. It uses a Phillips screwdriver. Just unscrew it and drain the coolant. So I'm gonna be removing this bottom portion of the shroud. There's one clip right here and one clip right there. You just squeeze it in and it comes out. So I'm going to be removing the upper radiator hose. Sometimes if it's really stuck, you can go on razor blade and split it. Okay, I got a razor blade. I'm gonna be slicing the radiator hose. Then I get my screwdriver. I'm gonna be opening it up and then disconnecting the hose. So I'm going to be removing this electrical connector that goes to the fan. So I'm going to be disconnecting my electrical connector. Removing these wires. So I'm going to be removing this bolt and this bolt. That's for the fan shroud. So I'm going to be removing this hose. Okay, so I'm going to be removing these two brackets. That way, when I push my shroud towards the back, I get a little bit more room. So I'm going to be removing this screw. There's only one screw holding on the electrical fan. So we're going to be removing these retainers. Removing these brackets. going to be removing this bolt that attaches the AC condenser to the radiator. It's a 10mm bolt. I'm going to be disconnecting the lower hose. There's a plastic bracket that secures the bottom radiator hose to the frame. We're just going to remove it. So I'm going to be removing the hose that connects to the thermostat housing. So I'm going to be removing these 4 bolts to remove the fan blade to get access to the thermostat housing. So we're gonna be removing the thermostat housing. There's 3 10mm bolts you gotta remove. So I'm gonna be removing the thermostat. So I'm just cutting it out because we're not gonna be using this. So I'm gonna be putting back my old thermostat housing. So I'm going to be connecting a bottom hose. I'm just going to direct the water away from us while we're flushing out the block. Okay, so with my flush gun, I'm going to be flushing out with water and air. So right now the water is going through. So now I'm going to be pulling the trigger, let air and water go through. And you just gotta keep flushing out until everything comes out clear. Okay, that should be good enough. So what I'm going to do now is stop the water. Now I'm going to be pumping air in the system. Try to get as much water out of the block. If you have the original serpentine belt, now is the time to change it. There's a lot of room now. This one is the original one. So I'm going to be replacing the S belt. So I'm going to be loosening my tensioner, removing the belt. These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. Thermostat housing comes with a thermostat housing gasket, radiator cap, serpentine belt, 4 number 20 hose clamps, upper radiator hose, lower radiator hose, extended light blue pre-mixed antifreeze, and a radiator.